Okay, so welcome back. And so now we're going to do an example that involves trigonometric functions. Okay, so again, we've got our x of t, which is for cosine t, y of t, which is for sine t, and then we've got t from 0 to 2 pi, so 1 revolution of the angle. Okay, so for 0 to 2 pi. So t, so those are the angles, the interval for the angles. And so now we're just going to plug in for the values of t. Now this time we're going to go from, since we're dealing with angles, radians, we're going to go by 1/6 of pi radians. Okay, so we'll start with 0 and then we'll go up by 1/6 each time and see what we get. Okay, so if we have a 0, if we have 0, cosine of 0 is 1. So 4 times 1 is 4, right? And then sine of 0 is 0, so that's going to be 0. And so pi over 6, well, that's a 30-degree angle, right? So pi over 6, we're going to have a 30, 60, 90 degree angle, triangle rather. And so the cosine, right, the cosine of the pi over 6 is going to be 2 times the square root of 3. So again, this should just be a review, right? So we have 30, 60, 90. Okay, so we're at a 30-degree angle. Cosine is what? It's adjacent over hypotenuse, right? So this is going to be what? So this is going to be x, right? This is going to be 2x, and this is x times the square root of 3, right? So we get, so if it's a unit circle, then it's just going to be, x is just going to be 1. Okay? And so in this case, we get pi over 6. And pi over 6 is 2 times the square root of 3. Which is approximately 3.5. Okay. And then sine. Oh, by the way, this is 2 times the square root of 3 because we have to multiply by 4. Don't forget to multiply by 4. Okay? So, and so again, if you look at the unit circle, or the triangle here, you get square root of 3 over 2, and then you multiply that by 4, and you get the 2 times the square root of 3. Okay? Forgot to mention that. But again, this is what I'm going to be using the unit circle to fill this out. Okay, so again, just review. You should know these. Okay, so pi over 3, that's a 60-degree angle. So now we're doing cosine of a 60-degree angle. And in that case, we get 1/2 times 4, which is going to be 2. Oh, we forgot to do this one. So sine of 30 degrees, or pi over 6, is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, right? Okay, which is going to be 1/2 times 4. Okay, which is 2. And then this is going to be, again, 60 degrees, so we're going to have 2 times the square root of 3. And then 90 degrees, right? So the pi over 2 is 90 degrees. So we want the cosine of 90 degrees, that's going to be 0, right? And this is going to be 4. Sine of 90 degrees is 1, so we'll get 4 here. And so on and so forth. So again, 2/3 pi, so this is again, this is, again, you have to do the reference angle of where your triangle is at. So this is going to be, what? 2 pi over 3. Okay, which is going to be over in this quadrant, right? And so again, if you build your triangle in the second quadrant, you're going to get -2, and you'll get 2 times the square root of 3 here. So again, you'll have to build your triangle here. So that means this is going to be negative, right? This is going to be positive, and this is going to be positive. So again, the angle is still going to be the same thing. Your angle, or your reference angle, is 2 pi over 3, right? But this angle here is going to be pi over 3, which is going to give you a 60-degree angle, okay? And so you get these results. So notice this is negative because this is negative, okay? So again, draw your triangle in the appropriate quadrant and then do the, your definition of your trig. Okay, 5 pi over 6 is going to give us -2 times the square root of 3, and this is going to give us 2. And then we get -4, 0 for pi, right? So -4 and 0 for pi. And then over here we're going to continue on. So this is x of t and y of t. So now for 7 pi over 6, we get -2 times the square root of 3. So negative. And we also get 2. And then for 4 pi over 3, we get -2 and -2 times the square root of 3. Okay, and keep in mind we're in the third quadrant here. So again, your triangle, right? Negative, negative, positive. Okay. Next one we get 0 and -4. And the next one we get 2 and -2 times the square root of 3. And then we get 2 times the square root of 3 and 2. And then at 2 pi, we start over at 4 and 0. Okay? And then it repeats itself. Okay, so now if we graph this, what do we get? Well, let's do that. So let's get rid of this. Okay, so now let's graph our points on here. Okay, so we start at 4, 0. So that's going to be right here. Now this is about 3.5, 2. So approximately 3.5 and 2. So 3.5, it's about 3.5 and 2. It's about right there, let's say. And then we get 2, comma, about 3.5. So we get 2 and about 3.5. So I say about right there. And then it's 0, 4. So right there, okay? So the first quadrant goes like this. Well, what happens in the second quadrant? Now, the second quadrant goes to -2 and about 3.5. So -2 to about 3.5. So about right there. And then -3.5, comma 2. So -3.5, comma 2 is about right about there. And then it's -4, 0. So -4, 0 is right there. And if we continue this, now look at this, it looks like a half circle. So now if it keeps going, it looks like we're going to have a full circle, and that's exactly what we're going to end up having. Okay, so now we continue on. So this is going to be -3.5, comma 2. So -3.5, comma 2, which is going to be right about here. And then -2, -3.5. So -2, -3.5. So about right there. Yeah. And then 0, -4. Right there. And then finally, the last quadrant, 2 and -3.5. So 2, -3.5, 3.5, comma 2. Hold on a second. Oh, this should be negative. That should be negative. So we get 3.5, -2. So that's going to be 3.5, -2, which is right about here. And so again, we start here and we go all the way around. And we get a circle. So again, we start here. This is at t equals 0. And also t equal to 2 pi. Okay? And we start here and we go, let's put our orientation in, right? So we put our directional lines, our directional symbols. And then of course we have t equal to 1 pi over 6, t equal to pi over 3, t equal to pi over 2, and then we've got two pi over 3. 5 pi over 6. And we've got pi, and so on. Okay, so we can continue on labeling these, and that would be our parametric curve. So this is the graph, right? So the parametric curve. And that's how we do it. Okay, so now, here's one for you guys. Okay, so sketch the curve described by the parametric equation. So we've got x of t is equal to t squared minus 3. Y of t is equal to 2t plus 1. Oh, hold on a second. Wrong one. Sorry. Looking at the wrong one. Here it is. X of t is equal to 3t plus 2. Y of t is equal to t squared minus 1. And this is going to go from negative 3 to 2. Okay, so you guys do that one. Again, this is for practice, and if you have any questions, let me know.